For me, Chicken Little is known to be one of the gray sheep when it comes to the 3D animated movies from Disney. Chicken Little was a pretty good movie when it released in 2005, especially since it was Disney's first CGI movie without the help of Pixar. However, over time, Disney has gotten way better with their 3D animated movies, and now we have films like Zootopia, Wreck-It Ralph, Moana, and plenty more that would be considered classics of today and the future. Chicken Little today is really only seen as people either loving the movie or flat out hating it, and there's not really much of a middle ground. This doesn't mean that the movie wasn't popular, since it did get about $314 million in the box office, and a video game that came prior to the release of the movie which had a ticket for you to see the movie. Plus, a year later another game for Chicken Little came out, and Chicken Little also had a special appearance as a summon in Kingdom Hearts 2. With it being 13 years since the movie released, I figured it'd be a good idea to look at this game that basically released with the movie and see if it stands over the movie after all this time, or if it's gone crashing down alongside it. We'll find out today as we look at Chicken Little, the video game. I really wish people put subtitles like this for their games. It honestly make things way easier. Chicken Little is a kid that gets bullied a lot in school because he once got hit in the head by a mysterious object and said that the sky was falling. His dad just said it was an acorn, and afterwards practically the entire town bullied Chicken Little over the whole event. There's literally only like 4 people who don't bully him for it. There's even a movie that's gonna be made off of this happening, which doesn't make much sense in real life, but whatever. Yeah, the people in this town are not that great of people. Chicken Little spends a lot of his time trying to prove to his dad and the town that he is not the insane kid that they're treating him as. One night, he and his friends discover alien technology and find that aliens are indeed real. They also find out that they are here to try and get back an alien kid that was left behind. Now Chicken Little and his friends must return the alien child to the invading aliens before they destroy everything. This story is overall filled with a lot of cliches: an alien invasion, father-son issues, the nerd character being bullied, and his friends with the other unpopular students, the mother is dead. Oh yeah, that's not mentioned in the game. Well, regardless, it's important movie-wise. Despite all of the cliches that this story is filled with, it does try to get you to root for Chicken Little, and I do feel like it succeeds in doing that. Some people would say that the town harassing him is going a bit too far, but other people have pointed out that that's literally the point. The movie is trying to get you to hate this town and side with Chicken Little. That's not that hard to understand. The environments look pretty nice. They all are unique and represent the areas that are both actually from the movie, as well as the ones that need to be made up for some of the levels of the game. The models for characters in this game are pretty good too. Now obviously they're not going to have the same quality as the movie. I mean, Chicken Little had 250,000 feathers on his body alone, but this is pretty good. During gameplay though, the characters don't blink. Ever. They never blink. Once you notice it, it kinda doesn't leave your mind. The music for this game is interesting. It's pretty funky and is a good example of what I like to call repetition music. There's not really many parts that stand out over anything else in the tracks. You don't really notice these kind of songs too often, mainly because you're playing the game. Overall, the songs in this game are good, but there's not that many memorable ones due to so many of them being repetition songs. Some cutscenes are straight from the movie. Well, kinda. They are in the same context of the movie, but some songs that are from the movie were removed for copyright reasons, obviously. Every voice actor involved in this game are the same ones from the movie, and they do good work for this game, which makes sense given this came slightly before the movie, and the movie's voice acting wasn't bad either, so I'd assume it would be fine, but you never know. Most of the characters act normally, aside from one of them, but it honestly makes this character better, which is weird. I want to say that it's a bad thing because it's not accurate, but I also want to say that it's a good thing because it's better than the movie. Well, whatever, you make of that what you will. Most of your time will be spent playing as Chicken Little. His main gameplay is platforming to get through a lot of levels in the game. Enemies do stand in his way though, like his own merchandise. Yes, this is an actual thing in the game. Clever. Quite clever, but cruel at the same time. To defend himself, he has a yo-yo which he can also use to climb up poles and ride along wires. While going through the game, he gets an upgraded version of this yo-yo, which allows him to grab onto faraway hooks and swing on tree branches and whatever these things are that are suspended in midair. Later on, you also obtain a slingshot that you can use to hit things from a distance and can be used as a first-person weapon for better precision for targets at a higher or lower angle. Most people that aren't Chicken Little has minigames, and there are a lot of minigame segments. There's driving, space shooters, on-rail skating, baseball, dodgeball, and even more that I didn't mention. Some levels of the game will require Chicken Little to go around the area and try to collect enough coins to get a soda from a vending machine. This then leads to an on-rails flying segment. Now with all of these different levels and minigames, there's a lot of controls. So to help learn the controls, each level gives a little sheet that tells you what the controls are. And quite frankly, I'm glad the game does it this way because any other way would take way too long. If you need to get health in any version of the gameplay, you will need to collect acorns. Yes, acorns. The very symbol that Chicken Little is mocked for.
Did the people in this town design this game?
Collecting 10 of them will get you an additional hit point. Every level has 5 Butt Cluck baseball cards that you can collect. Try saying that 3 times fast, by the way. Collecting all 5 of the cards in a level will complete a set which you need in order to unlock multiplayer minigames in the minigame store. There's also a cheat code menu where you can change some things in the game. This game is actually pretty solid as a platformer. The game is very simple and easy to understand, and there's a lot of minigames involved which provides a lot of variety in the gameplay. It doesn't feel overwhelming either due to the game giving the option of the little screen pop-up to tell you the controls anytime you begin a level. This game also integrated a pretty interesting thing that was not in the movie, Chicken Little's yo-yo. The yo-yo is actually from an animated Disney short that goes by the same name from 1943. In fact, a lot of this movie is based off of that animated short. Aside from the fact that the aliens didn't exist in that short and how the short ended. Foxy Loxy ended up eating everybody, in case you wanted to know. Yeah, Disney's dark, but that's not really anything new. Trust me, look up the original princess stories. They are not the same as you remember them to be. The cheat menu is also really neat. It's mostly just cosmetic stuff like giving Chicken Little sunglasses and paper pants, but can also give some funny things like big head mode, big feet, big hair, and you can also make yourself invincible. I honestly wish more games now did stuff like this, but unfortunately it's a heavily died out trend. The game uses a lot of clips from the movie. This is really lazy to me, and it seems like it was rushed just to tie alongside the movie. And like I mentioned before, some scenes remove the music from the movie, and again, for understandable reasons, but it can completely take away from a scene if you have seen the original. They also decided to not use about half of the movie's scenes. This does make sense since some parts of the movie don't have anything that can be used for the game, but they are also some of the most important scenes in the movie. I understand that this game was used more as trying to get the player to get their parents to go see the movie, but it still leaves out major parts that are very important and it does not feel right, especially when you've seen the movie prior to playing this. A lot of the music in this game are alternate versions of the other. Now, I'm perfectly fine with some remixes. A lot of games do stuff like this, and it's usually for like special events inside of a video game, and if the storytelling is done well enough, it can also give some form of symbolism. However, that's not with most of the songs in the actual game. This game does it with about a good third of the soundtrack. By the game doing it that way, it looks almost incredibly lazy, and then not only that, the differences aren't really too noticeable unless you sit down and actually listen to them. This makes some songs a little bit less memorable because a lot of them just sound the same while you're playing the game. Remixes in other games at least sound different enough to be recognizable from the original version. When I was playing, I honestly didn't even notice that there were different versions until I listened to the music individually for this review. It also kind of made it harder to select songs for this review because I have to play music in the background for them, and it doesn't help that almost half of the songs are the same. The baseball cards that you can get can only be used to unlock the multiplayer minigames. If you don't care for multiplayer at all, there's no reason in going after these cards, and there's no other collectible in the game to try and care about. Not only that, but you have to collect sets, as in all 5 cards in a level, and you have to collect multiple sets to get even one minigame. Plus, some of these cards are either difficult to get or are in on-rail segments, which means if you miss one, you might have to restart the entire level just to get it. To play these mini games that you might only play one time when you unlock them, if you even remember they exist, isn't worth the amount of work that you have to put in just to unlock them. Now, this has to be my biggest gripe about the game, but there are so many completely pointless levels in this game. Now, this is a similar case as to what I said in my Shrek 2 review. However, in that game, it added more to the lore of the Shrek universe, so it at least got something out of it. I could actually find something to like about the needless levels, and that's why I had it in the ugly section. However, since this is in the bad section, there are multiple issues that I have with this. For one, there are a lot more levels that are completely pointless. There's a level where you have to run away from Goosey Lucy, but at the end of it, you just run straight back into the gym and get caught anyways, and the game continues as if you didn't do anything. So there might as well have been no point in running, but you restart the level if you get caught before reaching the end. There's a level that's practically a duplicate of another level in the game, and there are 2 levels after the final boss that could have easily been removed. And the worst example of this is when Abby, Fish, and Run are in a rush to go to Chicken Little's house because he is in a time of need due to finding a strange object. The cutscene before this level even shows how seriously they are taking this.
Chicken Little sounded really freaked out on the phone.
Yeah, but are you really sure we should be taking the car? I mean, we could get in a lot of trouble and there are safety issues to consider.
Our best friend is having a personal crisis. We can't abandon him in his hour of need.
However, right after that, all of a sudden you have to drive around doing like 15 chores that they should have done earlier, and you can only fail 2 of these chores, and this lasts almost 10 minutes. There's no reason stuff like this should be in the game. During my playthrough, I asked multiple times, why is this a level? And it happens way too often. It overall just builds up a lot more playtime than the game should actually have. This isn't even being lazy, it's forced creativity, and that's not a good thing. The only level I can semi-accept is where Foxy and Goosey Lucy steal Chicken Little's baseball equipment before the big game, and he has to get it back. I only accept this because this is something I can see happening in deleted scenes of the movie. But also, what more is there to add to Chicken Little? The fact that the kids have chores that they're irresponsibly not doing? Basically, any pointless level in the game doesn't add lore to the world around them, and if it does, it isn't interesting in the slightest, or it can be taken out of the game and change nothing about the outcome. I should not be able to take a good chunk of the game out, and a lot of things would still stay the same as if I left them in. When I first started playing the game, the overall movement was strange. It didn't automatically click like a lot of other platformers. Running has a strange startup to it, and jumping was a little bit awkward. However, after playing the entire game, this issue disappeared because I had gotten used to how the game physics were. All I needed was time, and everything managed to sit well. The music for this game can be pretty nice to listen to when you complete levels in a timely fashion. For me, if you spend too long on a level, the music can get really irritating to listen to. Again, this is partially the fault of being repetition songs being a major part of the soundtrack. This might not mean too much for other people though, and if you complete the levels in a timely fashion instead of just going after the cards like I mentioned before, then you'll be fine. Overall, this game is just okay in a lot of ways. The music, okay until a little while of listening to it. The platforming, okay mainly because of how simple it is. The minigames, either pointless or kind of fun, which leads into, you guessed it, okay. There are some things about this game that heavily push it down further than it actually has a right to. The standard platforming is really one of the few things that holds this game together, and there's not too much that can back up the negatives that I've mentioned. The only really clever thing that I saw that was done in this game was the yo-yo involvement, but other than that, there's not really much I can say that is here. It is the definition of a C-tier game. An okay game for an okay movie for today's time. What's going on, my fellow residents? It is me, TheFrozenCavern, and thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. Social medias and stuff, let's get that out of the way. My social medias are in the description, my Twitter, Instagram, and Discord, they're all there. All of these are ways of knowing when I actually upload a video, and on Twitter I upload polls for these videos for what games you guys want to have done next. However, recently I've been slowing down on that a little bit, and that's mainly why I had Chicken Little here for now. And in the upcoming reviews, 3 of them are already planned. For one, the Avatar review, yes, I'm still doing it, just give it time. I need to have that done, I know, but still. I promise I will have that done as soon as possible. But another one I'm going to be doing is the Polar Express, because of course it's the holidays or around that, or however you determine it, and it's also kind of dependent on when you watch this video. But I will be doing a review of the Polar Express because of the fact that it's around the holidays, and I feel like that's a pretty fitting game for the holiday season. And then in January, I plan on doing Ed and Nettie the Misadventures because of the fact that Ed and Nettie will be turning 20 during that time. So yeah, I have to do something for that. And also, for December, I might do a review of Smash Ultimate. I'm not 100% sure. My Spyro review didn't exactly do too well when it first came out compared to my other videos, so I'm a little bit hesitant on trying to do that game as well. But let me know if you guys want me to do a review of Smash Ultimate, and I will try my best to do it. It might come out in January though, given how much content's in the game, but still, if you guys want me to do that, then just let me know. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, as well as share this out with your friends, so they can also go over games that were from their childhood. If it was involved in their childhood. Not sure, everyone's childhood is different. But until the next video, take care.
I want
for a